Hey, welcome into Valuable Coaching this week. We have Tusculum University head coach Eddie Pennington. He just started the men's program there in the last couple years, and he's very excited to talk with us, and we're very grateful to have him on. It's a great interview. He talks about all the different places he's coached and kind of the diversity of his coaching background and how that's played into him kind of creating a diverse team of male athletes from different states and different countries, and he's very excited to continue to grow that, and we loved having this conversation with him. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, welcome into Valuable Coaching tonight. We have head coach Eddie Pennington from Tusculum University in Tennessee, and he's going to first off tell us a little bit about how he got the program started there. It's a brand new program, started in 2020. So welcome to the show, Eddie. Thanks for being on.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Just to start off, this program, it's been, for me personally, been here for about 2 years. Hit the ground running recruiting. I started up in December of 2018. And from then it was just kind of like, hey, we're starting next year. Hey, we want you to have at least 12 guys. And I was like, okay, yeah, 7 months, 8 months, we can for sure do it. And so 100% stressful, 100% worth it. We ended up hitting 15 guys and, beat our numbers that we were expecting. And first season, as you guys, are in the coaching ranks and you understand, unfortunately, first season I cut a little bit short, unfortunately. But this year's been going really well. We're constantly growing. We're recruiting from a lot of different areas. And it's been a whole experience. I really didn't think that, starting a program by myself would be as rewarding as it's been, but it's really cool wearing all the different hats, learning more about myself, kind of like earning your stripes in a sense of every sense of the way in coaching where, I came from the University of Illinois Springfield first, then I went to Butler University, and there, you wear a couple hats and you're just kind of like, cool, this is, what I'm probably going to do coaching eventually. And then I came and started a program, and it's like, okay, everything you just learned, add on all the recruiting, add on all the administrative things, add on anything you can think of, you're by yourself. And so it's definitely been a trip, and it's been really good and really humbling for me. But I've loved this job from the get-go. Honestly, the days that we have, just even the tiny bit of growth, it's super rewarding for us, super rewarding for me. And I couldn't have asked for a better group in terms of character. They've been such a phenomenal group to start off with. They are an incredibly respectful group, and I think from the get-go they've just been hungry to be good. And it's definitely was unique. I can tell you honestly from the get-go in terms of saying, hey, we are yet another men's volleyball program in East Tennessee, adding in King University and Lincoln Memorial University. So we are right there in that little triangle with them. King is about an hour away. Lincoln Memorial also an hour away from us. And we were one of the schools that in the past, probably about, there's been this big upstart with First Point starting up a lot of programs. And we were one of the few that didn't go the route of going First Point. It was just kind of natural, came from the school itself saying, hey, we want to start men's volleyball. Seems like a great opportunity for us. And believe it or not, they also started beach volleyball that same exact year that they started us up. So just kind of adding both of us at the same time. So it's been unique, kind of taking our own route without First Point, but it's been really cool to see, the route that First Point has taken, where they're just growing the game at such an exponential rate that I think it's doing wonders for the game and doing wonders as a whole for just volleyball itself. And I think the exposure that we're getting, right in this southern region, and it's been here for a while, being at Belmont Abbey in 2012, there were already a few teams that existed, but I think them getting a pulse in the area as well as us starting up has been really, really good for the growth of the sport, especially on the, the southeast area, not just the East Coast itself.
Yeah, Coach, seems like you're doing great things there. I was looking at your schedule, and, Lincoln Memorial is relatively a young program, and they're doing some great things, and you battled with them last night or your last match and went 5. Yeah. So you're doing some good things. You touched on that you went to Belmont Abbey and had your playing career there, and you were part of that inaugural season at Belmont Abbey. What did you learn through that inaugural season that you brought to your new university when you became the head coach?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the best thing that I learned from being there as an athlete was, number one, patience, not just in myself as a coach, but also from the athletes themselves. I've been very fortunate, not just from, the playing standpoint, but also the coaching standpoint. But the people that coached me when I was at Belmont Abbey, they've been really strong mentors for me when I started this process up. But I can tell you, like, our first year at Belmont Abbey, I feel like my first year here, where you have this ragtag bunch of kids from different areas. Everyone's trying to mesh. No one's really played with each other. And you're just like, all right, we got to bond and we have to play volleyball together. And you're like, all right, yeah, cool. Like, we'll try our best. And everyone's just kind of like flying by the seat of their pants. I can tell you, like, it was incredibly stressful for me because my first year, like, we're about to have our first game and my coach is like, yeah, like, Eddie, you're going to play libero. And I was like, Coach, I haven't played libero a single day in my life. Like, what do you mean I'm going? He's like, yeah, just hop on in. And it was super stressful, to say the least, but it helps me tremendously from, year 1 to year 2. And I can really relate my experiences to what they're going through. And I know for me personally, like year 2, as a player there, it was a year of phenomenal growth for me. I found a much deeper respect for the game itself, found a much deeper respect for my program, as well as the understanding that, what I'm trying to push on my guys now and really help them through is the sense of ownership. And, once we start building this culture here, once we start, continuing to grow our program, the more ownership that you take on as an athlete, the more that you're going to love what you do, respect what you do, and, want to pass on what we do here. And I think that's been really, number one, difficult because we have a lot of freshmen, a lot of young faces, and they're still trying to find their own identity. And trying to help them through those hiccups along the way has been fun. And it's definitely been, I think, much easier transition for them because I already have that experience of going through it. And we're trying to kind of like spark note that process to help them be more successful. And I can say, honestly, like these guys already, in my opinion, like year 2, from the standpoint of like cohesion, I think they're doing a phenomenal job so far.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And I think those experiences are awesome for those players because, like you said, learning that patience, I think you probably were able to instill in them. You said they've been very respectful, but
yeah,
that patience, you got to have that as a new program. There's probably not a lot of expectation to get out there and start winning right away when you're getting a bunch
right.
of new people.
Yeah.
But I know, I remember when I got on a team, I wanted to win. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's been a big thing for us is, as we've been recruiting our 2020 class into our 2021 class and 22s, big push. I'm like telling out a lot of athletes, like, you may not see wins right now from us, but we're building phenomenal things here and guys are doing phenomenal things here. We were very grateful in our first year. We had a freshman All-American and, yes, he's a phenomenal athlete, but I feel like if he wasn't here, working as hard as he was, buying into everything that we were teaching, as well as being a part of this program, those opportunities wouldn't have arose for him. And our guys I think they really took a strong, just like, positive out of that, because then they realized, yeah, we're a lot of freshmen, but we're already producing phenomenal athletes. We have the ability to win. And I think that's been a big thing this year is, yes, we want to recruit winners 100%. That's what all of us want. But at the same time, it's inspiring that because, our first year, we had a couple wins. We had a couple really good wins. We had a couple really good losses. If you want to say, good losses is getting beat up pretty bad. And we went through a lot of growing pains our first year. And this year with just the fact that we have, 5 freshmen and a couple new transfers in, the guys are taking like this ownership of like, yes, we want to be good. Yes, we're going to win. Yes, we're going to start making a name for ourselves. And that ownership is really coming full circle. But it's going to take, probably a couple more years for us to, finally start hitting our stride a little bit, finding that true confidence and knowing that, we can go in any match and we can be super competitive. And that's what I preach every single time we walk into a match is I always have a belief with, what we do in our gym, how we train, and just, instilling that mindset that we do have the ability to win. We genuinely do, but being able to give them that on court, kind of purpose has been really, really important for us because I can't be out there playing with them, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So Coach, if you study your coaching career, a little bit of your playing career, you've been a little bit of a journeyman. You've lived in Colorado. You said you lived in California. You coached at Belmont Abbey. You've been at, in Illinois.
Yeah.
And then when you look at your roster, it kind of reflects that too. I mean, it's one thing that's unique about your roster is you hit up a lot of different states and regions. Do you plan on continuing to recruit that way? And do you also plan on maybe expanding to, Southern California or Northern California? That's kind of some hotbeds of volleyball.
Yeah, it is.
Do that?
So 100%, I want to genuinely, like, it was last year, it was a 2020 goal for me. And I was like, I need a California kid. Like, I just need to get myself like in the mix there. I got a Vegas kid and I'm like, okay, we got to keep going, go a little bit further west, get that next person. And so 100%, that's something that I've really enjoyed about recruiting. And my biggest thing, especially recruiting to Tennessee, was once I first got here, I can tell you, with my journey of where I've been, I haven't coached men's volleyball before. I've been on the women's side. And I'm very privy to the women's side. I met a lot of coaches. I made a ton of, had a ton of contacts. And I was like, this is great, but what am I going to do with that now? And so my first month or two when I was starting this gig up was, any sort of women's contact that I had that knew the men's contact, I'm contacting them. I can tell you my first time out recruiting, I went to Chicago in 2019 and I spent hours upon hours upon hours, not even watching kids, but networking, talking to coaches. And I'm like, hey, Coach Pennington, Tusculum University. And they're like, what's Tusculum? Where's Tusculum? we don't know who you are. And I was like, all right, here we go, spiel. So I did a lot of that my first year. And I think the biggest thing that I really wanted to do with my program was I want to recruit really diverse in terms of not just, let's get a couple white kids, let's say we get I actually have a few Cubans, let's have a few Black athletes. I wanted to be diverse in terms of let's get people from different areas. Let's make everyone feel welcome. And I think that's something that I want to continue to do where, we have right now, 3 athletes from Virginia, excuse me, one from Baltimore, Maryland, one from Jamaica, he's from Georgia, but he was kind of born and raised in Brazil. One from Vegas, 2 from Louisiana, 1 from Colorado, Chicago. Here in Tennessee, actually, we have 1 athlete, 2 from Florida, and I think, did I mention the 1 from Colorado? We have, so we represent quite a few areas. And, we're going to start representing Arizona next year. And I'm super excited to continue the growth, continue that diversity. And a big thing that I tell, our guys now, as well as, incoming athletes, is I'm going to continue to do that because when you grow up one day, when you decide to be an adult, you're not going to be around all Virginia guys or all California guys or all Baltimore guys. You're going to be around this giant melting pot of people. Mm-hmm. Everyone has different circumstances. Everyone has different life experiences. And it's really beneficial for you to meet all those types of people because it's helping prepare you for the real world. And so I think that's been something that's been really cool. I'll be honest, my group, they're a little unique. I say weird sometimes, but they're a unique group because they're just so vividly different in so many different ways, but they mesh in this really, really cool way. And I can tell you guys, they really reminded me my first year at Belmont Abbey, where a lot of them are really close. They become really close friends and they have a hard time separating as young 18-year-olds. They're just like, wait, they're my friend. And I don't want to get mad at them because then that'll tarnish my relationship with them off court. And I'm like, we're business, man. We're business on court. You have to remember that. And they're like, okay, I'll try. I'll give it a shot. I'll try my best. And this year, it's really started to click where they're just like, yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit of trash to my teammate. I'm going to help push him to make him a better person. And then we walk off the court and we're boys. And it's not a big deal. So I think that's been something that's been really cool to kind of see go through them. And yeah, you nailed it perfectly. When I was at Belmont Abbey, we had a super diverse team. We had literally guys from everywhere. And then, I go to the next couple of schools that I'm at and we have athletes literally from everywhere. And I love that piece of it. And I think it speaks volumes of even where I've been living in various different states, meeting various different people. And I think those life experiences have helped me to recruit those different types of athletes.
Yeah, I think that's something that sounds really cool. And I know the few times I've traveled to Tennessee, you kind of alluded to this before we got on and we're recording, but people have seemed very welcoming there. So it seems like an easy place once you get somebody to come to the state and check it out, that they're gonna enjoy their time there and that they're going to want to come there. So it will be exciting once you start getting kids from California and from some of these other states, and I can say too, college, although we weren't maybe the most diverse team in terms of states, we had some out of state kids from Hawaii. We had some guys that were from overseas, from South America. And yeah, having that kind of those different experiences, even Northern and Southern California, really it should almost be two different states. There's enough differences.
No, I agree.
So
no, I totally agree with you. And that's honestly, it was a little off-putting when I first came here because my current AD told me, he's like, the people here are amazing, like they're really outgoing, and I'm like, yeah, it's like I'm pretty outgoing too, like that's cool, man. And I show up on campus, and I shared the story with my guys, like with other athletes, where I show up on campus and I'm like in my interview, and we're walking on campus, we're doing whatever. Someone like opens the door for me, and they're like, "Hey, how's your day going?" And I was like, "It's going good." I was like, "How's your day going?" And they're like, "Oh, that's going great. Like, where are you from?" And I was like, "What? Hold on, like, what's going on here?" And literally, it's everywhere. I have so many experiences where I'm, like, for example, I'm like getting gas one night, or I'm out at the grocery store, and people just talk and talk and talk, and they're super outgoing, and I'm like, "Listen, I'd love to get home. This is a really cool conversation, but I really got to get going." But the people here, they've done a phenomenal job in terms of, I think, helping our guys feel so welcome and helping them not feel like such a number. And I think that's been not just here on campus, but in the community, because it's just different. It's so different. Like, people are so outgoing here. And even athletes, I had one athlete from Chicago who, when he's a freshman now, but he started up in the fall time, and him and I are like, I meet with my guys that are freshmen like twice a month. We sit down, chat, talk about life, whatever it may be. And I'm like, "Hey, like, how's it going?" He's like, people they're really, like, they're really outgoing here. He's like, I thought, he's like, someone was staring at me when I was out getting groceries, and I thought he wanted to fight me. And I was like, no, like, don't fight. They just want to say hi. He's like, yeah, I realized he just said hello to me. And I was like, you got to back off a little bit. Like, they're nice people here. And he's like, yeah, I figured out these people are really, really cool. Like, obviously you weren't lying about that. So it's different.
Yeah, it definitely is. I know, like I said, the couple times I traveled out there and then come back home, I mean, I live right somewhere where lots of people are out jogging and walking, and I try and I can be pretty introverted sometimes, so I try and put myself out there a little bit, say hi, say good morning.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times people just walk past, but if you said that to somebody, they are gonna
they
gonna
want to
strike
know
up
your
a
life
conversation
story
and find out
where
you're going, what you're doing. So that's I mean, I think that's a great selling point, and I think it's a good experience for especially young men to get out there and have to kind of deal with that and learn from it. And like you said, learn about, hey, this guy's not eyeing me because he wants to size me up. He's eyeing me because he wants to find out how your day's going, and he wants to be a nice guy.
For sure. And he was like just so confused. And I was like, that's literally how it is here. And you just got to get used to it. And I love it. I think it's been something that's been awesome for the guys. And I think it's also something that kind of like plays into a caveat with just the area is, I'm fully transparent with all my athletes. I'm like, listen, when you come here, like, no, it's nothing crazy in terms of like the campus. It's not gigantic, like, but there's tons to do. If you want to go hiking, if you want to go meet people, like, we have a few big cities around us. And my biggest thing is like, I want you to be here, be a phenomenal student athlete, but you also 100% life is all about balance. And I want you to have a social life. So I encourage them, like, go explore, like, we have Johnson City that's close. We have Gatlinburg, Sevierville, Asheville, Knoxville. We have a ton of things that are close. Like, go do it. Like, go do those things. They're totally worth it. And so I think that's something that's been really cool for them to experience, especially with that first year group we had. We have a gentleman from here about like 30 minutes away is where he lives. And he literally helped the guys get acclimated really, really quick to the area. So I was very grateful for him.
All right. I really want to thank Coach Eddie for being on with us. Again, it was great to hear what he had to say today about, again, how he's been starting this program, where it's going. Tomorrow, we're really excited because he talks to us a lot about the growth of men's volleyball, both in high school and college, and just where he thinks it's going. And again, it's just a very exciting conversation this week to really be talking with someone who's at a startup and is really trying to work things through and is doing it the right way, finding great kids and going and searching them out throughout the country, not just focused on one small area. And so, it's a very great conversation, very diverse conversation about different topics of volleyball. And so we're excited to be back tomorrow with Coach Eddie from Tusculum University. Hey, check out our sponsors, One Stone Apparel, onestoneapparel.com. They make great apparel for camps, clinics, physical education, whatever your needs might be, even uniforms if you needed them. Talk to Dave at One Stone Apparel.